My son, listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal is not a simple reflection, nor is it just another generic message among so many you've heard. This word carries profound spiritual weight and was sent with a single purpose: to open your eyes before you make a decision you'll regret for the rest of your life. You've been feeling something stirring in the invisible, as if there were a restlessness within your chest, a signal that has not yet been interpreted. Know that it is no coincidence that you were drawn to this video. It was I who brought you here silently, because there is something urgent that needs to be revealed to your heart today. You asked for answers. You pleaded for guidance. You cried, asking me to speak to you clearly and unmistakably. And I listened. But understand, there are times when the divine answer will come not with applause, but with silence. And it is in this silence that I deliver that which transforms. So don't ignore this message. Don't. Close your spiritual ears, because there's a secret surrounding you, a truth hidden in the midst of your pain. And if you listen to me until the end, you'll finally understand the reason behind everything you've experienced. And now that your soul has begun to awaken, prepare yourself, because what comes next will touch wounds that no one has ever been able to reach. And if you're here, it's because something inside you has already recognized the voice calling. So, before we continue, take a deep breath and allow yourself to receive each word as if it were a gift from heaven. This isn't just a video, it's an encounter. This is the moment your story connects with something greater than you can imagine. If you feel this message speaks to your soul, stay with me until the end. And when you feel it resonates, just hit the subscribe and like button, not for me, but so more people can hear what God wants to say today through this word. Son, I know you in a way no one else does. I know exactly the weight you carry, even when you try to hide it with a polite smile or automatically respond that everything is fine. I know the nights you wake breathless, your chest tight, unsure if what you feel is sadness, exhaustion, or an emptiness that seems to grow ever deeper inside. I was there when you stared at the ceiling in the dark and silently wondered if there was still any point in continuing to live. I saw it, and more than that, I felt it with you. You've been through so many situations that were bottled up, swallowed, suffocated. You cried silently in moments when no one saw, in banal situations where the same old things were expected of you. You thought no one noticed your pain, that no one cared, that you needed to remain silent. But I saw it all. I was with you in every battle you fought alone, in every thought you tried to silence, every time you almost gave up. And even when you prayed without words, even when you just cried, thinking no one was listening, I listened. You've been fighting to keep your faith alive, even with everything around you trying to extinguish it. On the outside, everyone thinks you're fine, but inside, there are deep cracks you try to hide. And yet you carry on, even without strength. This is courage, and it is precisely this pain that I will transform, because everything that still hurts you today, I will use to restore your life. You are not here by chance. This message is the answer. And now that you know, you were never alone, prepare yourself, because what I will reveal to you next will change everything, because there is a purpose hidden within this pain. You know, I almost didn't record this message. I was afraid of sounding too fragile. Maybe I wouldn't find the right words. But as I prayed, I felt someone needed to hear this just as it is, because like you, I've also asked for answers in the silence. I've questioned the reason for so much pain. I've felt forgotten by God. And it was in this place of a pain that He found me. If this spoke to you in any way, tell me in the comments. What was the moment when you most needed to feel God close? I will read each response with care and pray with you as if you were walking alongside me. Son, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. You're not hearing this by coincidence, nor did this message appear on your screen at the exact moment you were thinking about giving up. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't chance. It was me. It was I who set everything in motion to bring you here. Because the time has come for you to understand that even when everything seems random, I continue to be the author of the most precise encounters in your life. There are times when I act in silence, not because I've abandoned you, but because I've prepared you for something your eyes can't yet see. And now that you've been through everything you've been through, now that your heart is more broken than ever, it's precisely at this moment that I've decided to speak to you, because the vessel needs to be empty to be filled again, and your heart is ready to receive something you previously wouldn't have had the maturity to understand. This message is not general. This word is not generic. It has an address, a date, and a name, yours. I brought you here to tell you that I chose you among many, that even when you thought you were unworthy of hearing my voice, I was already preparing this conversation between us. Yes, it is a conversation. Because I listen to you. Even when you only think and don't verbalize, I hear you. Even when your prayer is a stifled cry into your pillow, I receive it as if it were praise. Don't fool yourself into thinking there's nothing more in store for you, just because doors have closed, just because some have forgotten you, just because time has passed and the answer hasn't come yet. Child, when I choose someone, time ceases to be a barrier and becomes a tool. I use even delays to teach you. I use even silences to refine you. I use even what seems like failure to prove that my ways are higher than yours. While you felt forgotten, I was protecting you. While you felt rejected, I was guarding you. While you wondered, why me? I was writing a story that will impact lives you haven't even met yet, because your process has purpose, and your pain will translate into healing for others. You were set apart, chosen, prepared, and no matter how much you tried to distance yourself, or even pretended not to believe anymore, the truth is that my presence has always found you in the most unlikely moments. And now, in this moment, as you hear this word, something inside you begins to recognize that the time has finally come to understand what was once confusing. And if you know how to retain what I'm about to reveal to you now, you will realize that behind all the suffering there was something hidden, something that can only be revealed to those who endured the silence with faith. If this really reached you, write in the comments, I have been called. Sometimes a simple phrase confirms that God has also spoken to others, and together we realize that we are not walking alone. Son, now that your heart has been prepared, I want to reveal something to you that has long been hidden from your eyes. The pain you experienced was not punishment. It was not abandonment. It was not chance. It was a process that seemed cruel, but was aligned with a plan much greater than you could comprehend at that moment. When I allowed you to experience certain losses, when I remained silent in the face of some of your most desperate prayers, it wasn't because I stopped loving you. It was because I was building something within you that no immediate response could produce. What I was doing silently was greater than what you prayed for out loud. You prayed for relief, and I responded with resistance. You asked for rest, and I allowed more struggles. And I know this confused you, made you doubt whether there was truly a purpose. But now the time has come to show you that my time is not a punishment, but a preparation. The fire that warms you also purifies you. The trial that wears you down also strengthens you. The promise I made to you has not been forgotten. Even when you had already given up on it, even when you buried it within yourself to avoid further frustration, I still held on to every word. And now, at this stage of your journey, when you feel weaker than ever, I have chosen to reactivate what was dormant within you. You were shaped from within to support what I will place on the outside. Therefore, before the time of manifestation arrived, I needed to lead you on the path of emptying. Because while you were filling yourself with human expectations, I needed to empty you of everything that didn't come from me. I needed to free you from everything you thought you needed, but which, in reality, only distracted you from your calling. Son, what you went through wasn't in vain. The pain that weakened you also dug your roots deeper. Now you are stronger, more sensitive to my voice, more prepared to discern what is mine and what is not. And that's why, today I can tell you, the time for change has come. The harvest that was withheld is about to be released. The healing you've been waiting for is near. The answer that seemed like it would never come is already on its way. But before all this arrives, I needed you to hear this word, because the promise will come, yes, but it will come with understanding. It will come with balance, it will come with spiritual maturity. The relief you've longed for is no longer distant. It's beginning now, within your spirit. You will feel it, not as a momentary euphoria, but as a peace that begins small and grows, invading spaces that were once filled with pain. The peace that surpasses understanding will take hold of you. And when you look back, not with anger, but with gratitude, you'll realize that even the hardest days were necessary to shape who you are today. Everything that was taken away will be returned in a new way. Everything that was denied will be replaced with something that truly leads you to fulfillment. What I have to deliver goes beyond your prayers. It goes beyond your plans. That's why I needed to break some of them. Not to humiliate you, but to protect you from paths that seemed good, but would distance you from me. I love you too much to give you everything you want. So, today I give you what you truly need: clarity, direction, healing, and above all, the sign you've been asking for. Now that you are ready to receive, I will speak to you more directly. Prepare yourself, because from this moment on, I will be the one speaking to you, and you will understand in depth what it means to be cared for, shaped, and loved by God Himself. Child, it is I, your Father, the one who formed you when you were still a silent promise in the womb. It was I who designed you with details no one else has seen. It was I who wrote your days before you even took your first breath. Every line of your story was written with purpose, even if you didn't understand why some pages were so painful. I was there when you fell and thought no one would help you up. I saw the ground give way beneath your feet, and you felt like you couldn't go on any longer. And even when everything inside you told you it was the end, I remained by your side, silent, not because I abandoned you, but because I knew that what was forming inside you needed silence to mature. My son, you are stronger than you imagine. Pain didn't destroy what I planted in you. It simply exposed how much you can resist when you think you have no strength left. I kept you standing even when your inner self screamed for rest. I was the relief you didn't see but felt, the moment everything seemed to fall apart. Because even when you don't hear me, I continue to sustain you. The people who left you, who hurt you, who disappointed you, they were all part of a scenario I needed to dismantle. And I know it hurt. I know you didn't understand, but today I need you to understand. Some goodbyes were deliverances, some no's were protections, and certain silences were ways of preparing you for what's coming next. You will still look at everything you've been through with new eyes. You will understand that what seemed like loss was actually a redirection. I was taking you away from places that no longer fit on your destiny's path. I was freeing you from people who didn't know how to value what I planted in you, because what you carry is sacred and cannot be wasted in the wrong hands. Son, you have been crying out for answers, and I say, they have arrived. Doubt will cease, darkness will recede, and fear will lose its power, because today I breathe new life into your soul. Receive this. Receive it not with your mind, but with your heart, because what your eyes cannot yet see, your spirit is already beginning to feel. The promise has not died. Time has not cancelled what I spoke about you. Even though it seemed distant, even though you considered giving up, I kept alive every word I released about your existence. And today, I reaffirm, I will fulfill everything. And I will do it so clearly that no one will be able to deny it was I. I didn't call you to a shallow life. I called you to deep waters. And in the depths, sometimes the loneliness is frightening, the cold is intense, and the direction seems unclear. But it is in the deep waters that I mold warriors. It is in the silence that I reveal what many are unprepared to hear. It is in pain that I deliver the keys to spiritual authority. You asked to understand the reason for the pain, and I answer you now. Pain was the language your spirit needed to learn what your mind resisted accepting. It was through pain that you grew closer to me as never before. It was there, at your breaking point, that my love enveloped you most strongly. I didn't allow the pain to punish you, but to guide you, because I loved you too much to let you follow a path that would lead to destruction. Son, I know your heart. I know the times you kept quiet to avoid hurting. I know the times you forgave when no one even realized you had been hurt. I saw you care for people who left you when you needed them most. And yet, you held firm. Even so, you didn't harden your heart. This didn't go unnoticed by me. I keep you. I strengthen you. And now I restore you. That which was dormant will awaken. That which seemed lost will be returned, and what was torn away, I will replace with something better. Because what I have for you doesn't depend on merit, it depends on covenant. And the covenant I made with you is eternal. Lift up your head, son, for the time of shame is coming to an end. The time of waiting is giving way to fulfillment. I will make your mouth smile again. I will put a new sparkle in your eyes. And all this will begin in the invisible, but will soon take shape before all. Not for your glory, but so that all may see that I am with you. You didn't get here alone, I brought you. And now I will walk with you into the new phase that begins today. Don't doubt anymore. Don't question if it's real, it's mine, it's yours. And while the world tries to push you toward fear, I declare over you, courage, because heaven has already released what you've been waiting for. Now, listen to my word, because it is about to be confirmed with signs. Son, now that your spirit has been prepared to receive, I want to give you the word that serves as the foundation for everything that has been said thus far. And it does not come from men, it does not come from opinion, it does not come from momentary emotion. It comes from my heart, recorded in Scripture so that even when the world tries to confuse you, you have a place to stand. Romans 8:18 says, "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." This is not just a future promise, it is a prophetic key to your now. You've been facing difficult days, and sometimes you feel like the pain you're experiencing will last forever. But I tell you, it won't. I know tears don't have a set time to fall, that longing for better times comes when silence tightens, that fear of what's to come tries to paralyze you. But today's suffering doesn't have the power to erase what I've already determined for tomorrow. This word of Paul speaks not only of a distant hope, but of a certainty that dwells within my children, that everything they are experiencing now is being precisely shaped to reveal a glory that is yet to come. And this glory, my child, begins in the invisible. It begins when you choose to believe even without seeing, trust even without understanding, follow even without guarantees. I know you've experienced losses no one could console, battles you faced alone, nights when your pillow became your only confidant. But even in those moments, this truth was upon you. Present suffering is nothing compared to future glory. Every time you chose to remain, even when you were powerless, you were walking toward this glory. Every time you chose to forgive, even when hurt, every time you chose to love, even when rejected, every time you chose to trust, even when frustrated, you were aligning your life with the promise I made to you. This word is the reminder you need to keep in your heart. What is to come is greater than everything that has passed. Not because the bad days weren't real, but because I am greater than all of them combined. And what I have prepared for you will not only be comfort, it will be testimony. Son, this scripture was written for moments like these, for days when everything inside you screams for surrender, but a part of your soul, however small, still chooses to believe. And if you keep this word within you, you will realize that it does not abandon you. It lifts you up, it sustains you, and it prepares you for what is about to happen. Son, now that you've begun to see with the eyes of faith, I need to show you something that's been happening behind the scenes in your life. Because what hurt you didn't always come from what was visible. Often the real attack wasn't physical but spiritual. And now you need to know this so you can stop blaming yourself for pain that in fact wasn't your fault. There are battles you can't see, but you feel them. They're the ones that happen in the wee hours of the morning when your body is tired, but your mind won't stop. They're the thoughts that repeat themselves, the guilt that returns, the memories that hurt for no apparent reason. All of this isn't just emotional, son, it's spiritual. The enemy isn't afraid of those who speak beautifully. He fears those who carry purpose. And you, even without realizing it, carry something inside you that bothers hell. Your resistance. Even when hurt, your faith even when shaken, your prayer even when silent. All of this carries weight in the spiritual world, and that's why he tried to silence you. Many of the people who hurt you were influenced by this invisible war. Not because they were evil per se, but because they were being used to shake your faith, to make you question who you are, and most importantly, to try to sever your connection with me. Because if the enemy manages to separate you from my presence, he already feels he's won, but he hasn't, because you're still here. And you're hearing my voice. You've been wondering why certain cycles repeat themselves, why, even when you try to do everything right, some things seem to go wrong. And I tell you, a spiritual pattern is being broken now. The enemy tried to make you believe you were born to suffer, that you would never be chosen, that you would never be freed from certain inner bonds. But these lying voices are falling to the ground now, in the name of my son. My child, you have often felt stuck, as if something were preventing your life from flowing. And indeed there was. There were words hurled at you. There were spiritual accusations, judgments, and even ancient alliances made by past generations that were trying to stop your progress. But today, because you listened to me, these chains are being broken. Today, that which was impeding your spiritual progress is being undone. Have you ever felt like you were praying and not being heard? Like you were crying out but the heavens were closed? And that made you doubt, didn't it? But what you didn't know is that all this time, a struggle was going on. A struggle to keep you from hearing that word. A struggle to keep you from accessing that revelation. Because the enemy knows that when you understand the purpose of your pain, you free yourself from the cycle of fear. They made you believe you were weak, but I see how much you resisted when everything seemed to fall apart. They made you feel guilty for wounds you didn't inflict. They used words that undermined your identity. They tried to convince you weren't worthy. But it was all part of a plan to block your vision. The enemy tries to work in the mind. He sows doubt, confusion, and guilt. He knows that if he can contaminate your thoughts, he can paralyze your spirit. But today I cleanse your mind with my truth. And the truth is this: you have been called. You have been set apart. You are mine. And no matter how many opposing voices have risen, my voice is louder. Son, what prevented your liberation was not a lack of faith, it was a lack of understanding. But now you know. Now the veils are falling. Now you understand that the struggle was not just external, it was being waged within you as well. And I entered this battle with you. You no longer have to carry the weight of everything alone. I'm fighting for you. I'm silencing the accusers. I'm canceling past decrees. I'm undoing invisible pacts that chained you to pain. Now take a deep breath, because what held you back has been ripped away. What limited you has been removed. What prevented your healing no longer holds power. And what once seemed like an endless cycle is now the beginning of a new era. Son, now that you understand the truth behind your pain, now that I have revealed the battles raging within and without you, the time has come to take a stand. Because the next step doesn't just depend on listening, it depends on declaring. Faith needs to be verbalized. Your mouth has power, and when you speak, the spiritual world responds. So take a deep breath. Forget what's around you. Silence everything for a moment. I want you to pray with me. Repeat with faith, even if the words seem fragile at first, because I don't listen to the perfection of your voice, but to the sincerity of your heart. Now calmly and confidently declare, Lord, today I choose to trust you again. I recognize that your ways are higher than mine. Even without understanding everything I've experienced, I accept your process. I surrender my pain, my guilt, my traumas, and my anxiety into your hands. I now renounce every opposing voice, every lie the enemy has cast upon me, and I declare I am a child of the Most High God. I am not a failure. I am not rejected. I am chosen. I am loved. I am restored. I open my heart to experience all that the Lord has prepared for me. I no longer want to simply survive. I want to live with purpose, with direction, with identity. Lord, clear my mind, heal my inner self, strengthen my spirit, restore my faith. I declare now that I am free from everything that has held me back. And I prophesy, a new season begins in my life today. Even if the winds still blow, I will not give up. Even if difficult days come, I will not back down, because now I know the Lord is with me. And if the Lord is with me, no evil will prevail, no condemnation will stand, no plan of the enemy will succeed. I receive peace. I receive strength. I receive spiritual vision. I receive healing. And most of all, I receive the assurance that I have been chosen, and that everything I have been through will be used for your glory. Son, as you repeated these words, things began to move in the invisible. Chains were broken, doors were unlocked. There is a sound of liberation echoing throughout your life. And even if your eyes don't yet see the full change, your spirit is already beginning to sense that something new has been activated within you. Now keep your heart open, because there's still something I need to show you, something that could completely transform the way you see your past and what's to come. Son, what you've received so far is just the beginning. I haven't revealed everything yet. I've only peeled back the first layer of what I've been keeping to show you, because there's an area of your life that you've been placing before me insistently, with hidden tears, with sighs that only I heard in the silent dawns. And I heard. I was there when you placed your hand on your chest and, with a choked voice, asked, "How long, Lord?" I saw every time you tried to hide the pain, smiling on the outside so as not to worry those around you, even as your heart shattered inside. I saw you ask me, "What about my home, Lord? What about my children? What about my husband? What about that person in my family who is so distant, so hardened, so lost in their own choices that they no longer realize how far they have strayed?" From me, I saw you try to counsel with love, but you were ignored. I saw you remain silent, not out of cowardice, but out of wisdom, so as not to create confrontation, so as not to worsen the distance, even as you carry the weight of uneasiness in every prayer. I saw you cry into your pillow, asking for just one answer, and it was not in vain. This is exactly what I want to talk to you about in the next video, because the time has come, the silent waiting, the hidden fasts, the intercessions. You made even when no one else believed. All of this was counted before my throne. Nothing was wasted. Every seed of faith you planted, I watered with my mercy. And now the time has come for me to act. There is something I am about to do within your home. An invisible movement has already begun, and many won't even notice it right away. But you will feel it. You will perceive the signs, because there is a liberation that will begin because of you. You were chosen to be the starting point of a spiritual transformation within your lineage. There are cycles that have repeated themselves in your family for generations, patterns of suffering, addictions, estrangement, divisions, betrayals, emotional and spiritual illnesses, and you have always felt that something didn't make sense, that it needed to stop within you, and today I confirm, yes, it does, and it will stop, because I am raising you up as an intercessor, as a spiritual sentinel, as someone who carries a calling to restore what has been broken. And even if you don't feel strong enough, it is in your fragility that my power will be perfected. There is a word I will release over your family, and it won't just be comfort. It will be key. It will be a breakthrough. It will break chains that began even before your birth. And so I need you to keep listening to me, because the revelation that will come next has eternal weight. It won't just be to comfort your heart, but to equip your soul. Because what you'll hear in the next video won't just be spiritual information, it will be warfare instruction, strategy for difficult days, prophetic guidance for the time to come. And if you thought this message was powerful, wait until you hear what I have to say about the coming days. Days that will mark irreversible decisions. Days in which the spiritual battle around your home will intensify, not because you are being destroyed, but because you are so close to the liberation you have prayed for. You need to be prepared. You need to be vigilant, because I will be acting in areas you didn't even know were at war. I will touch hearts that were already considered lost. I will rescue souls who were bound by deceptions disguised as freedom. But for this, you must remain in prayer and connected to my voice. So if this word truly resonated with you, if something inside you trembled, if some memory brought you to tears, or if your spirit was awakened by this confirmation, then don't let it pass. Continue. Click on the text video and prepare your heart, because what I'm going to show you is as deep as the love I have for you, and as intense as the deliverance that has already begun to manifest. And this time, you won't just hear. You will live. You will see with your own eyes what I promised, being fulfilled before your eyes, because the promise has already begun. But what comes next will be even stronger. And what I have to reveal to you will change everything, forever. Son, before you leave, I need you to keep in your heart everything that was said here. This wasn't just a pretty message, nor a string of emotional phrases. This was a touch from me. It was an answer. It was an outpouring of my presence upon your weary soul. You didn't get here by luck. It was a calling. And I don't waste calls. Everything delivered in this video was carefully aligned with what your spirit most needed to hear. Because I know you. I know your fears, your failures, your broken dreams, and even the thoughts you hide from everyone. And yet, I continue to love you with a love that doesn't change with time, nor with mistakes. You are too precious to give up now. You are strong, even when you feel weak. You are light, even when you feel dim. You are seen, even when no one seems to notice you. Because I don't look at what's on the surface. I see your heart, and within it, there is still faith. Today, I place a seal of healing upon your story. I declare that days of confusion are being replaced by clarity. That pain will give way to hope. That fear will retreat before my peace, and that you will be a living witness that it is worth trusting even when all seems lost. My son, don't be ashamed of what you've been through, because what seemed like your end will be remembered as the very point where I began something new. Your testimony will be stronger than any accusation. Your journey will be firmer than any fall, and your life will be more beautiful than any plan you ever dreamed of. Now I declare, you are blessed, not by merit but by grace. You are kept, not by force but by covenant. And you are at peace, not because everything has changed on the outside, but because something within you has been restored. If at any time you forget these words, come back here. Listen again. Relive. Reinforce the truth, because I will always be waiting for you, in this same place, with this same love, with this same voice that never stops calling you son. And if this word touched your heart, then you need to keep walking with me. There is more. There are other revelations that I will still give you, and you cannot miss them. So, subscribe to this channel. Yes, do it now, not as a random click, but as a step of faith, as if to say, Lord, I want to keep hearing your voice. Activate the bell. Stay tuned, because the next videos will carry even deeper answers, and they were prepared directly for you.